So to answer the clickbaity question, why my game is not fun yet, well, I have no way to save progression. So, in this log, I will be solving that issue and walk through some of the latest changes I made regarding, for instance, multi-tile items, directional input. I will leave some timestamps if you want to jump around a bit. Loading and saving is extremely fundamental to getting this game to work. So, the world is built up by 256 by 256 tiles. This is a chunk. A item can occupy 1 or more tiles. The more tiles will be 3 by 3 tiles or 5 by 5. So the goal here is to create something that can serialize the chunk, then load it back into the game when you want it. And to be clear, the game also needs to support the fact that you can have endless amounts of chunks. So how did I implement this? Well, the game loops over the entire chunk. Every tile in the chunk has an enum associated with it. This enum is just what type of building it is. So, all in all, I just need to transfer this enum from a runtime structure to a more save time friendly structure. I make some exception for multi-tile items, since I only need to save the middle of the tile to save on some memory. With this information, we can later deduce that 5 by 5 tile needs to automatically create its children around it. I guess one of the harder problems was solving the movable objects. These objects need to keep track of where they physically are in the world, but they also need to keep track of what state they were in. So, for instance, are they lerping between points on the ground or over the ground? How long has it been lerping? What direction is it moving in? This point is probably something I will need to revisit in the future to optimize, because you will probably have tons of items in the factory all at once. We don't want to save that all out to memory in an inefficient way. All buildable tiles can have a special data struct associated with it. So, for instance, all converters need to know what recipe they are currently following and how many items they're holding. And of course, we can't forget to save out the general world state. Things like gold, time, inventory, and other types. But most of these are just a one-to-one transfer and were super easy to implement. All in all, I'm super happy with the system. It's super easy to extend. Now I just need some friendly UI to allow the player to actually pick save files and have multiple save files and load individual files instead of automatically loading the latest file, but that is a problem for future me. So, on to the next one. For a long time, I've been highlighting buildable stuff with a simple red default arrow, but that changes today. Now, I actually have a special material that I can apply to the object. This material can be blue or red, depending on the place, if the placement is allowed or not. So, to implement this, all buildable items can assign their normal state of materials, then override it with this special material based on what the current building state is. I'm not super sure if I'm super happy with the solution, so you can leave a comment if you have a better idea for it, but for now it looks way better than before. Something that kinda has been bothering me for a while is the fact that you can push items into machines even if there's a visible barrier in between. It looks weird, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I actually have a solution for it. So, how I solved this was grabbing the current direction of the movable object and comparing it to the item's input direction. Super simple and works like a charm. So this is more a show and not so much tell, but something I had to implement sooner or later was multi-tile items, but now they exist, and why I didn't do before was it just complicates code both from a building perspective but also from a save and load perspective. So it was just a hassle, but hey, now it's done. But hey, that's all for this one. So if you have any cool ideas that you want in the game, then just tell me and I might actually implement it. Bye bye!